says, what is the probability of drawing 1/4 from a deck of cards? If you draw from a deck 10 times with a replacement, what is the probability of drawing at least 7 hearts? So when we're talking about at least, what we're saying is we want the probability of 7 plus the probability of 8 plus the probability of 9 plus the probability of 10. Right? Want to see at least 7, which is 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those are all the different possibilities we can have, right? So here we would have 10c7 times 1/4 to the 7th power, 3/4 to the 3rd power, plus 10c8, 1/4 to the 8th power, 3/4 to the 2nd power, plus 10c9, 1/4 to the 9th power, 3/4 to the 1 power, plus 10c10, 1/4 to the 10th power, 3/4 to the 0 power. So again, we're adding up the probability of each together to get your total probability. All right, question. So here it's asking us, what is the probability of drawing at least 7 hearts? So the bare minimum you need to draw is 7, right? Well, if I draw 7, that fits my requirement. If I draw 8, that also fits my requirement. If I draw 9, that fits my requirement, and 10. So that's why it's 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I need a minimum of 7 hearts or more, right? Kiara?
Didn't you, before did you draw like everything below 4? Like.
So here it's actually easier to calculate 7, 8, 9, 10 than to calculate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and subtract that from 1. That you could also do that, but you just have more work. Yeah, it's also a possibility. Paula?
Where did you get the 3/4?
Okay, so great question. So this one just tells us the probability of drawing a heart. Well, if the probability of drawing a heart is 1/4, that means the probability of not drawing a heart is the remaining percentage. So again, 1/4 plus 3/4 should equal a total of 100%. Question?
Also, why did you subtract the 1 since it was.
So again, this one, we're not calculating these to calculate like the other, like we're just trying to calculate 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's what at least 7 would be. We have to subtract from 1 if it's easier or it's less work to calculate a certain amount and then subtract it from 1. But in this case, we would have to calculate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then subtract that amount from 1. But that's just more work. Any other questions? Okay, so this is really the hard part, is setting it up like this. The other part is then you just calculate it, and I don't have a graphing calculator with me right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and write my answer here. That's fine. And after you type it in, you should get 0.0035. And then it will be 0.35. Again, to convert a decimal into a percentage, a really easy way is just to multiply by 100, and then you get 0.35% chance of drawing at least 7 hearts. Any questions on that? Okay. 5A, which is the second part here, asks, what is the probability of drawing, I should say, a heart at most 4 times? So when you're asking about at most 4, that means the maximum you can have is 4 or less. So the different probabilities here are probability of 0, right? Probability of 1, probability of 2, probability of 3, and probability of 4. Okay, so again, we're calculating at most 4, so maximum of 4, but you can have anything less than 4. Okay. So if you were to write this out, then this would be 10C0 times 1/4 to the 0 power, because in this case, we're going to draw 0 hearts, right? Times 3/4 to the 10th power. You're going to add this to 10C1, or 1/4 to the 1 power, 3/4 to the 9th power, plus 10C2, 1/4 to the 2nd power, 3/4 to the 8th power, plus 10C3, 1/4 to the 3rd power, 3/4 to the 7th power, plus 10C4, 1/4 to the 4th power, 3/4 to the 6th power, and add these up all together and you get your answer. So again, in this case, you want to make sure of a couple things. You want to make sure that this number is your total amount of draws or your total amount of things that you're talking about. This is talking about how many of them are a certain thing. So whether they're a certain amount of things are, color blue, or they are a heart, those will be how many of the total are that specific thing. You want to make sure that your probabilities add up to 100%, and you want to make sure your exponents add up to the total amount there are. So 10 here is our total, so 0 plus 10 is equals 10, 1 plus 9 is equal to 10, and again, those are the things you just want to be really careful of. And then you also want to be careful of what the question is asking. You want to see, is it at most, is it at least, or is it exact, right? Those are the 3 different questions they can ask us. Is it at most, is it at least, or exact? Exact, you're just going to have one probability, that's all you calculate. At most, you're going to have a maximum amount of number. Anything that or lower, at least, it's minimum that or higher, okay? Any questions on that?